Greetings and good tidings. In today's video lesson, we are going to be discussing subtracting decimals. Much like with adding decimals and comparing decimals, we need to make sure that when we're subtracting, all of our places are aligned. There may be time where we have to annex, which means add a 0 to a number that we are going to be subtracting. And as always, we can use our handy dandy place value chart to help us with this. Just like with addition, when we're subtracting numbers, we are going to start at the right and we're going to work our way to the left. So we'll start with the smallest place and work to the largest place. Let's go ahead and try a few practice problems. With the first problem, I have 5 and 8/10 minus 3 and 7/10. I see that I have digit, decimal, digit, minus digit, decimal, digit. So for this problem, we have the same place values. 5 and 8/10 minus 3 and 7/10. Okay. I'm going to start all the way to the right with my tenths place, since that's the smallest place in this number. 8 minus 7 is 1. 5 minus 3 is 2. If I want to check my subtraction, do you know what operation I could use? Addition. Addition is the inverse, which means the opposite of subtraction. So what I can do is I can take my difference here, 2 and 1/10, and I can add it to 3 and 7/10. 1 plus 7 is 8. 2 plus 3 is 5. If the sum matches the number that we were subtracting from, that means that our addition is, or our subtraction, is correct. So 5 and 8/10 matches 5 and 8/10. Great job. Sometimes we are going to have problems like this one where the place values don't match. So what we're going to have to do is we're really going to have to look carefully at these numbers. I see that this is 19 with no decimal. If it doesn't have a decimal, that means it is a whole number. 19 wholes. The 19 is going to go to the left because we know that's where the whole numbers go. This says 12 and 74/100ths. So we have our whole numbers to the left of the decimal and our parts of the whole to the right. I'm going to go ahead and plug this problem into my place value chart. That 19, I know that it's 19 whole numbers, so that goes to the left. The 1 goes in my tens place, and the 9 goes into my ones place. I'm actually going to leave a little bit of space this time. So 1, 9. And right now my tenths and my hundredths are going to be left blank. I'll go ahead and plug in the next number, which was 12 and 74/100ths. I can see here in my place value chart that I have 2 empty places. Do you remember what digit I am going to put in those empty places? If you said zeros, you're absolutely correct. I need to annex those zeros. So I put a 0 in my tenths place and in my hundredths place. 19 and 0/100ths is equivalent to 19. I am now ready to subtract because my place value chart is completed. I start at my right and see that I have 0 minus 4. If I have 0, I can't take 4 away and have a positive outcome. That'll give me a negative outcome. So I'm going to go next door and I'm going to regroup and borrow from this 0. But I can't take anything away from 0. So I'm going to have to come over here to this 9. And he's nice enough to let us borrow 1 from him. So this 9 is going to become an 8. This 0, originally it becomes a 10, but remember we have to borrow from him as well. So we'll need to regroup and he'll become a 9. This 0 will become a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 7 is 2. 8 minus 2 is 6. 1 minus 1 is 0. Again, if I want to check my work, I can add. So this time, 6 and 26 hundredths plus 12 and 74 hundredths. 6 plus 4 is 10. So I regroup that 1. 1 plus 2 plus 7 is 10. I regroup that 1. 1 plus 6 plus 2 is 9. And 1 plus 0 is 1. 19 and 0 hundredths is equivalent to 19. Great job, guys and gals. Last week, when we practiced adding decimals, there were times that we had models instead of having digits. Let's look at this model here. This model has 100 squares, and 100 of those squares are shaded. Do you remember what fraction is 100 over 100? 100 out of 100 is 1 whole. So this decimal would be 1 whole. Last week, we also talked about decimals that look like this. Now, I like to look at my columns and see how many whole columns are shaded, because each of these columns represents 10. So I could say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. I have 0 whole squares shaded. This entire thing is not shaded, so that's 0 holes. I have 6 columns, 6 tenths, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hundredths, which equals 0 and 67 hundredths. For this one here, I have a hole that is shaded in this time. Now I put my decimal point right there to let me know that I will need a decimal for this problem. 1 whole and 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42 hundredths. We're going to go ahead and do one problem together where we need to subtract using models. With this model here, I can see there's one entire big square that's shaded. So I have 1 whole, and then I have part of a whole here. So I have 1 and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. 1 and 85 hundredths. I have no holes here, so that's going to be a 0. There are no entire columns shaded, so that's going to be a 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are shaded here, so that's going to be 0 and 6 hundredths. I'm going to plug that into my place value chart. 1 and 85 hundredths minus 0 and 6 hundredths. I am now ready to subtract. So I start at my hundredths place, and I see 5 minus 6. Well, 5 is less than 6, so I'm going to have to regroup, because again, that'll give me a negative outcome. I come over to this 8. He becomes a 7, and this 5 becomes a 15. 15 minus 6 is 9. 7 minus 0 is 7. And 1 minus 0 is 1. So the difference means the answer to a subtraction problem. The difference of 1 and 85 hundredths minus 0 and 6 hundredths is 1 and 79 hundredths. Again, I can check by addition. Nine plus 6 is 15, plus 1, so that would be an 8, and 1. So 1 and 85 hundredths. Let me make my decimal points a little bit bigger so you can see them better. When we're working with models, we can also use them similar to how we could use base 10 blocks or other manipulatives that we might have in the classroom. I could come over here and take 1 away from this model, take 1 away from this model, and I can keep doing that until they are all taken from one side. So I have no more over here. I took away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this side. I took away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this side. So this is 1 whole and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Well, since this isn't a whole column anymore, I'm going to start counting by ones. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. So that would be 1 and 79 hundredths. All right, guys and gals. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope that you all are working hard, and we'll see you soon.